I don't know about you guys, but we are always wondering about what Hersheypark's next coaster is going to be. Now, a little bit ago, we talked about some coasters that we would love Hersheypark to get, but they were intentionally unrealistic to us. Today, I want to talk about the realistic side of things and what I personally think Hersheypark could get in the next few years when it comes to coasters. A quick reminder, if you haven't already, to join the sweetest community by subscribing so that you can easily find more interesting Hersheypark videos. Now let's get one of the biggest predictions knocked out first, and that's RMC Wildcat. I know this is a very controversial topic, especially because some people don't want to see it go. Personally, I feel like RMC Wildcat is the right way to go for Hersheypark. If the park can make a top-tier modern innovation from this attraction, I don't see why they wouldn't do it. I completely understand the argument as to why Hershey should preserve Wildcat, since it was the first ever GCI built, but I don't think that's a strong enough argument. Many different versions of RMC Wildcat have been shared online, and they look absolutely amazing. So just imagine what the park could potentially do with this attraction. I would imagine that it would be a traditional lift hill, no launches, but would feature some of RMC's classic elements such as crazy airtime moments, inversions, overbanks, outer banks, and great pacing. As long as the coaster would have a stall, a zero-G roll, and plenty of airtime, then I would be set. I really feel like other people might miss the original Wildcat if this were to happen, but they would still agree that the RMC version of this attraction is still a better ride experience. Now, there is another way that this could happen where both parties would get the best of both worlds. This would be the case if Hersheypark decided to build a ground-up RMC in Chocolatetown. This way of doing it, I think, is way more unrealistic since the park is going to be very limited on space very soon once they utilize all of the Chocolatetown expansion land. So with that being said, it would make more sense for the park to convert Wildcat to an RMC. Not only would they save space, but they would be revitalizing a coaster that kind of needs it. Like I said, I know some of you are probably going to disagree with this opinion. If you do, make sure you share your opinion in the comments. I have had several discussions with Christian about this, since he's on the opposing side of my opinion, so I definitely understand that point of view. But this is what I think would make Hersheypark benefit the most from. Keeping on the same wavelength as the RMC, I really think Hersheypark could get either a Raptor or a T-Rex, but I'm going to be steering closer to the Raptor. All I want Hersheypark to do to make this come true is close Tidal Force, take it down, and use Tidal Force's pad for a new RMC Raptor. In my opinion, it is the perfect amount of space to fit in an intense and compact roller coaster, and what better option than an RMC Raptor? These single rail coasters are known to have two very different ride experiences though. Ones like Railblazer are known to have really fast whippy elements and transitions due to the shorter train lengths, but ones like Jersey Devil Coaster draw out the elements more since the trains are much longer. I would really hope that Hershey would side more with the shorter trains. I've been on Jersey Devil and I really like it, but I do think it probably wouldn't compare to how intense Raptors like Railblazer are. I do see reasons why Hershey would side with the longer trains though. Since Hersheypark is a very popular and busy park during the summer, they would probably suffer a lot at this attraction if they went with the shorter trains. On the contrary, the Tidal Force plot of land would nicely fit one of the Raptor clones like Railblazer. Although I would prefer an original layout, I think a clone of this type would be perfectly acceptable. I think these coasters provide really good airtime moments, strong inversions, and like I said, they could potentially have some really whippy transitions between elements. Not a bad option for Hersheypark to get in my opinion. Now this next type of coaster is one that I think is most likely to be added to Hersheypark out of all of the other ones on this list, and that's a B&M dive coaster. This has been rumored for a while now that Hersheypark would be adding one of these, and it makes sense to me. B&M dive coasters are coasters that feature this element here, which is a holding brake that holds the train at an angle right before the first drop. They also include some inversions, maybe a floater airtime moment or two, and these large sweeping turns. The general public eat these coasters up because of that holding brake, but if they're executed correctly, I think coaster enthusiasts can enjoy them too. I feel like Hersheypark would really execute this kind of coaster to the best of their ability too. I would like to think that they will go for some sort of record with it, whether that be a park record, or a state record, or even a world record. Honestly, the simplest way for them to get that accomplished would be by saying their dive coaster is the first and only dive coaster in Pennsylvania. I'd much rather it be a record when it comes to the layout of the coaster, but I could definitely see them going that direction. We made a video for a potential layout for a B&M dive coaster where Tidal Force and Wildcat catering sits today. Now, I don't think that a dive coaster would go in that spot nowadays. I really feel like it would be constructed in Chocolate Town since they have the room for it. But just imagine all of the B&M track going every which direction throughout Chocolate Town. I really think that this is a coaster type we might see sooner than the others in this video. My guess is sometime within the next 10 years, but only time will tell. Now, I know Hersheypark already has a launch coaster with Storm Runner, but I really think they would be willing to go out of their way to get a multi-launch coaster, specifically from Mack. And I say this for a few reasons. First, I think that it's been a commonality between parks across the globe to get multiple launch coasters. Though they might have a few, they all do something different, or are aimed at a different target audience. For this multi-launch coaster, I think they would definitely build one that is longer in layout than Storm Runner. On the other hand though, I think it would need to have a lower max height and slower than Storm Runner. Max launches are pretty infamous for being gradual too, so I would imagine Hersheypark could utilize that to make the ride for guests in the Hershey's height category. As for what elements I would hope this ride would feature, I'd love to see maybe 2 or 3 inversions, such as a 0G roll or a vertical loop, a great mix of ejector and floater airtime, and of course at least 2 launches. Something kind of similar to Copperhead Strike or Icon is what ideally Hersheypark could go for. These rides don't get talked about too much, but I feel like this is the kind of coaster that would be a really fun addition to the park, and it would cater towards more people, which is something Hersheypark couldn't go wrong with. Now for this last coaster, I'm fairly certain some of you will disagree with it, and I have my opinions about it as well. I honestly think it is possible that Hersheypark could get a 4D free spin. Now, there are a few things that I think about this, so hear me out. Let's talk about what the ride is first, and then I'll get into the logistics. 4D free spins are from S&S, and they feature single car trains that traverse a vertical layout with no turns. The cars of each row flip riders based on weight and gravity throughout the layout. I have been on one of these at Six Flags Great Adventure, which is Joker, and personally I thought it was okay. It wasn't outstanding though, but here's why I think Hersheypark could potentially get one of these. It's mainly because there is nothing already like it at Hersheypark. It is a very unique ride experience, and they are very compact, so Hershey could easily squeeze one of these in somewhere in the park. There are a few things I think could deter Hersheypark from getting a 4D free spin though. As I mentioned, there is already a free spin at Six Flags Great Adventure, and one is being built at King's Dominion for 2022. That would probably be a weird thing for Hersheypark to get when quite a few nearby parks have the same ride. Hersheypark has also chosen clone rides carefully in the recent years. Laugh Track is the most recently built clone, but the theming honestly makes it pretty unique compared to its counterparts. I personally would be fine if Hersheypark decided to go with one of these, but it is certainly my least favorite option out of all of the other possible coasters on this list. Like I said, it is a fun ride, but I think Hersheypark could find a better fit. So with all of these ideas, we want to know all of your thoughts about them, and if you think there is something else they could legitimately get. Let us know in the comments below, and be sure to like and subscribe for more Hersheypark content from the Sweet Seat. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.